Hi, I'm Otto.
I'm Michael.
I'm Matheson.
And I'm Sunny.
And we're Conglomerate Squad.
We are the winners of the 2022 Australian STEM Video Game Challenge in the Year 9 to 12 Godot category. This year's theme was networks. Our game was inspired by the network of Starlink internet satellites.
Our game is called Satellite Jump and is a single-player 2D puzzle game.
In our game, players traverse a network of satellites to send a message to Earth. Players need to find creative ways to traverse around planets and moons and through space junk and portals using a limited number of moves. Once all levels have been completed, the message is delivered to Earth.
My role was the artist, so I was lucky enough to be picked for that, and I really enjoyed making all the artworks.
My favourite part about being the artist was that it felt like recreation rather than work or chore. Though it was enjoyable, it was still challenging. For example, one of the biggest challenges was making sure the scale and theme was consistent throughout the artworks.
My main role was programmer. I had prior experience in C++ and Python, so I found it easy to learn to use Godot.
My first task was to develop the prototype of our initial concept. Once this was complete, I implemented other team members' artwork, level designs, and music. I also fixed any bugs along the way. Once the game was complete, I created the website for the game too.
My role was the music and sound effects designer. I implemented the music and worked on the music player mechanism. My favourite part was creating the sound effects, recording them, and then using Audacity to make them sound better.
Since I love designing game and puzzles, my main role was to plan the levels and tutorials.
Our original method of level creation was designing it on a virtual whiteboard, then constructing it in Godot. Each game element, like planets and satellites, had its own code, making it easy to duplicate and change them. So once we came up with the level's concept, we could quickly construct it in the game. However, we eventually discovered that it was more efficient to skip the whiteboard stage. After that, we made and designed levels at the same time. I really enjoyed getting creative with each level and finding tricks to confuse the player.
Some of the challenges we encountered as a team was firstly, distance. We had a unique situation as we live over 500 kilometers away from each other. My brothers and I live in outback Queensland while Otto lives in Brisbane City. We made the entire game online except for one face-to-face meetup. We used online resources and communication systems to help us overcome this problem. Second was that our team hadn't ever explored Godot in any depth before. We had to learn the engine before starting our game.
Here is some advice for future challenge entrants based on our experience. Assess each team member's skills and assign roles based on those skills. Decide on tools and programs early in the design process if possible. Manage your time and prioritize tasks in order of importance. Plan a game that is achievable with the skills and time you have. Keep a record of old versions and changes to your GDD and game. Make sure you have backups. Collaborate, cooperate, and communicate with your team members. Ensure everyone is up to date with each other's work. And test. UG test all the time. For gameplay testing, get people of all walks of life. The more diverse your range of testers, the better you can shape your game into something everyone loves.
It was definitely worth undertaking the Australian STEM Video Game Challenge. We learnt various new skills, it boosted my confidence in coding and game development. It's also given me a real appreciation for game developers. Hope you enjoy playing Satellite Jump.